What we are going to teach today is a proactive approach for effectively establishing relationships with people who are seeking to buy new homes. And as you might notice, we're not saying to hold a great open house to sell a listing, because most people have realized by now that open houses don't hardly ever actually sell the listing. What open houses are is a great way to pick up buyers. So that's what we're going to be talking about. Matter of fact, according to NAR statistics, 50% of open house visitors will purchase a home in the next 12 months. So there are, well, 50%, there are 50%. There's these two sisters in Marshall who go to every single open house. That's their sister time. They love doing that. They go to open houses together. Neither one of them is looking for a home. That's 150. They didn't come to yours, son of a gun. That's the 150%, the neighbors, the people who aren't buying but want to see what somebody did to a house. But buyers also do go to open houses, just typically not this buyer today, except now. And we're going to talk in a minute about where an open house fits in this market. Okay. The expectation is that you'll feel confident enough to consistently hold open houses. And there's a difference between holding a house open and holding an effective open house. And I'm going to give you a little example about that too. So if we're looking at the same chart, and I'm on page 3 that we always look at, where we talk about lead generation, lead conversion, client care, repeat and referral, where do you think an open house fits into that circle?
Bringing in fish to your
lead generation, right? This is a way to go out and find leads, find possible buyers. So open houses fall under lead generation, okay? And then we talk a little bit especially in the buyer boot camp, about converting. So the lead conversion of an open house person is the buyer boot camp, inviting them in, talking about their wants, needs, right? Getting them pre-qualified. That's converting them into a client, but open houses are lead generation. The strategy in an open house is label the looker, which is exactly the same strategy. That's why this class is going to go pretty quickly as well. It's exactly the same strategy of a floor call. Label the floor call. Are you a buyer? Are you a now buyer? Are you a motivated buyer? Are you an A buyer, which is
motivated, loyal, and
able?
Able.
Yes, qualified, right? Okay. So as you can see, some of the related classes are marketing boot camp, pricing boot camp, and buyer conversion. Okay, so moving on to the next page. Oh, not the next page. Page 4, which is the age-old chart of, first it's consistency. Consistency brings efficiency, or effectiveness, sorry. Effectiveness breeds efficiency. And all this basically graph talks about is the more you do something, the better you get at it, the better your conversion rates, the more success you have in the less amount of time. Page 5 just gives you an idea of what you're going to be learning today, what you need to know, which are a few dialogues, which we'll give you, and what you need to have, what information you need to have, what supplies you need to have for an effective open house. And I'm not going to go through those one by one because we're going to go through them as we go. So now we are moving on to page 6. Again, these core beliefs, but this class focuses on a few specific core beliefs. Core entrepreneurial beliefs, right? I live in a world of abundance. There's plenty of business out there for me. Just have to attract it, right? My only limit is time. If my only limit is time, then I need to make sure that my time is spent effectively. A 2-hour open house where nobody shows up is not an effective use of my time. So, or a 2-hour open house where I don't get a single name or have a single conversation is not an, oh, that works, is not an effective use. I saw you log off and thought, oh.
And I was like, I'm almost here anyway, so.
It may have been my phone though.
I hope so.
It was my car.
I hope I'm effectively recording because I will be posting this video. So anybody who hasn't met Bree, this is Bree.
Hi.
Yes, Dave.
So I'm pretty sure we've
met in passing probably.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay. Focus is the key to success. Again, I need to know what the vital activities are in my business, and I need to focus on those. I need to not get derailed by things that don't bring me work, money, profit. I reap what I sow. What is that very similar to? That saying we just talked about again yesterday. My results today are what
probably
I'm
came
getting
from 3 months ago.
right. I plant the seed, I nurture the seed, I water the seed, and then I get the harvest. Success stems from duplicable processes and systems. If I have an open house plan, I always do this, I always do this, I always bring this, I always do it at this time, boom. Talia used to do a lot of realtor open houses, and she had a laundry basket that had all her realtor open supplies in it. And she would just keep that basket. And then when it was time for an open house, she'd pull the basket out. Here's all the stuff I need. So when I sucked at open houses because I didn't like them. And I didn't really care if I got buyers or not, because I wasn't really focusing on buyers. I only had open houses to please sellers. And what a waste of time. Taught this class after I was already not doing open houses at all anymore. Morgan was on maternity leave. I did an open house for her and thought, okay, I'm going to do it right. Had a great time. Felt like I really used the time wisely and effectively and really held a good open house. So that's the whole point of this. It's unacceptable for my business to earn $0. And then there are some real estate sales beliefs. People will trust and follow what I can logically and tangibly explain. This comes to when you meet a buyer and they are a buyer, and you're switching over into buyer mode and saying, let's meet. Well, why should we meet? Nobody else makes me meet. If you can logically and tangibly explain to that buyer why your process and your system works, then they'll trust you and follow you. It's unacceptable to leave the client's money on the table. If the buyer says, yes, I'm a buyer, yes, I'm pre-approved, yes, I want to buy, then we're going to spend their money. Okay. Buyer beliefs. Time reveals all. What does time reveal? Whether or not you properly qualified them. Either you qualify them up front and you reveal they're an actual buyer or not, or you don't, and time reveals whether they're an actual buyer or not. Motivated, qualified, and loyal people buy homes. Having a process reduces the risk that comes with buyers, and the risk is
Not closing the deal.
that they're not a buyer, right? The risk is you were wrong and they're not a buyer. If they won't meet me, they're not a buyer. Serious people do what you tell them to do. They don't say, why should I do that? I thought you said you wanted to buy a house. They don't do that. They say, what should I do? Not why should I have to? A buyers deserve my immediate attention, and A buyers are motivated, qualified, and loyal. Okay. All right. We have to believe these things. I believe them because I've seen them. I've seen them. It's all true. All right. There is a method to the madness. People hold effective open houses because they intend to. So first, we're going to talk about selecting the houses to hold open. You don't just hold any house open. You don't hold an overpriced house open. It's a waste of time. It's overpriced. Matter of fact, I used to use an open house as enticement to my sellers to drop the price. How about this? If you'll drop the price to X, I'll change the price on Friday and I'll hold an open house on Sunday. I'll go out of my way to do something extra. You do what I'm asking. I would use it as a price change tool. Then I'll have an open house right when the price is fresh, when we've got a better chance of more buyers coming through. You don't do an open house out in the boondocks. You're not gonna get any traffic. Is boondocks like a bad word? Like it's not
No, it just
social.
describes my hometown.
Okay.
Right.
I don't want to be like,
I live in Bellevue.
you really
Well,
shouldn't say that word. It's short. It means this. And yeah, I guess I should look up. the
Well, for me, I
definition
was
of
just thinking
boondock.
like, so all of this is really cool if I can get a property in a city, but like it won't work for what I've got on M Drive.
Yeah.
And then immediately following that, it won't work in the
Yeah,
boondocks.
yeah.
So, yeah, okay.
Yeah, exactly. We don't hold open houses at houses that don't show well inside and out. Because what we're trying to do is, I hate to say this on recording, not necessarily sell the house. We're trying to attract buyers. We have to have an attractive property. It's the word attract. The property has to attract buyers if we're going to attract buyers. Okay. So in this market, with houses selling in a second, with houses that are priced according to your goals in a high traffic area that show well inside and out, how does that even happen? I know how I think it happens. I go to a listing agent in this office, a good listing agent, and I say, please, 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 can we talk about if you've got a great listing, a great hot listing coming up, could I don't care what day you list it. If it's Tuesday, I'll do the open house Wednesday. Could I please block off an hour and a half of showing time the next day and have an open house? Please, I'm begging you, let me do it. I'll pay for the well, there is no advertising, right? I'll do all the advertising, I'll, please. Now, the one thing this hurts you is it'd be nice to have 3 to 4 days notice to advertise an open house. But for a hot property that lots of buyers are going to want to see, oh well, the second that house goes on the market, the open house goes in on the listing, you put it out on Facebook, I'm having an open house, you tag the seller, you tag the listing agent, and you hold that open house. You go put a sign up the day it lists next to their sign saying open house tomorrow, 1 to 3:30, 1 to 3:30, 1 to 2:30, sorry.
You're saying do this within our team?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And you have a open house, because now even better chance you might actually sell that house. But for sure, you're going to get buyers through, for sure, if it meets these criteria. So you just say, please, what's it going to take from me? What do I need to do so you don't have to lift a finger? Come to you twice a week and say, got anything coming? I'm happy to do that. Whatever, but would you please let me do this?
Call out for my house. You guys can do an open house.
Mm,
And the one you already did? Or your new one?
yeah.
My new one that I'm gonna list tomorrow.
Oh, nice. Or maybe you need the buyers too.
You just need to sell it.
Double dip
What?
it, double dip it, Juan.
Yeah, I'm curious why you wouldn't be.
No, I would do it, but if
Oh.
somebody else wants to do it too, they'll.
Oh, gotcha. Couple of them.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay. Well, and the nice thing about blocking off the time is an agent will try to get in and show it during that time, won't be able to. And agents can bring their buyers through open houses. You can show it during that time. I'm just going to be there. You don't care if some agent brings their buyer through your open house. That's fine.
Now, on an open house, would you suggest that say I'm having an open house and you bring in your client for me to walk around with you and give you guys like a description of the house and what's there, or step away?
We're going to talk about that in a
Okay.
second. Yeah. Okay. So selection. We all good on selection. Okay. Preparation. Advertise the home 3 days before with a time sign only. And that's what I was talking about. This is going to be it. You get a sign, and I used to have a couple of them. I'm sorry, I gave them away to people, but I used to have one that said noon to 1:30 and one that said 1 to 2:30, because depending on how I felt. And I would it would just say open house Sunday 1 to 2:30. That's it. it's not an open house now sign. It's telling that an open house is coming up. So in this case, I might get one that says open house tomorrow so that I could use it. I don't, but if you can put even if you gotta make a sign, I mean, buy red vinyl letters and change it as you need it. But if you can get a sign up beforehand, letting people, because it's a high traffic area, right? Doesn't matter if it's not a high, but if it's a high traffic area, you are going to let more people know that an open house is coming. All the neighbors will know, but we're going to talk about the neighbors too. Inform 50 neighbors of the open house. And we're going to talk about that on the next page. So I'm just going to leave that there for right now. Buy a clipboard. This says print open house register, but I want to remind you, those of you who don't know, or those of you who do, I'm reminding you, there's a digital open house register that you can create on Lead Street. And so then you bring your laptop, this register is pulled up on your laptop, they sign in, and when they hit enter, the screen just refreshes blank again. And that information goes to your Lead Street. And we have to feel much more comfortable about asking people to log in to an open house. I feel like, in a way, sorry, but thank you, COVID. If nothing else, you've given me a very solid reason why I can ask people to log in for contract tracing purposes, right? I wouldn't even say the seller wants it. We used to say the seller, it's like a record of who comes through the house, just in case. That's a safety measure for the seller. Even that, why should you have a problem saying that? But now you could even just say it's our policy to have a record for safety reasons, both for COVID and safety reasons. Just go ahead and sign right in on there and have hand sanitizer sitting right next to it and have them sign in. And it's name, email, I think that's about it. And are you working with an agent? Yeah, it's maybe 4 fields. They hit enter and you say, don't worry, that information just goes to me. It does. Don't worry, that information just goes to me in case we need it. Okay. All right. So, or you can have a paper open house register. Please sign in. The nice thing about the electronic one is they can't hit enter until it's complete. A paper one, Now, if I logged in, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you my junk email. I have a junk email I never read. Oh, well, but you got my name. And yes, people can put false information. They're not motivated buyers. Okay, so we don't, but getting them to log in. Print the tax record, I'd say 10 copies of the tax record and the MLS sheet of the house you're holding open. Print summary support pages for all active homes in the area. Now, wait a minute, I'm supposed to be selling this home. No, you're not. You're supposed to be finding a buyer. So, not interested in this one? Well, here's a sheet with all the other homes available in this area. If any of these look interesting to you, I could probably get you in later today, or let me know if this area is attractive to you. Here's what else is available. What a huge thing to do that makes so much sense, and no one does it. And a basic set of pricing tools, a list of solds in the area so they can see that this house is priced right. What a smart, it's just a 1-line list, CMA, of solds. And here's a list of solds in the area to help you see how we came about the price of this property, which you don't mind giving them because the house is priced right. And one more thing, a criteria sheet, which they do talk about later, but for some reason they don't list it here. There's always a chance that we're going to talk about this in a second, a buyer who's not quite ready. Then you give them that wants and needs check sheet. Okay, great. If that's okay, I'd like to keep in touch with you. When you're ready, we can start the process. In the meantime, here's something for you to think about, maybe completing at your leisure. I'm not going to go into that. We're going to go in a minute. Okay. Plenty of directional signs. Again, if it's a high traffic area, there's always a chance you'll get people to come who just saw the sign. So make sure there's plenty of signs, starting on the most main road, plenty of signs open house, open house, open house to get them to the house. Arrived 20 minutes early. Oh my God, if I had a nickel for every time I arrived 30 seconds early. Right? 20 minutes early, turn on all the lights, including closets, open all the drapes and blinds, make it light and bright, adjust the thermostat, especially on a vacant home, make sure it's a comfortable temperature. Do not forget to readjust the thermostat when you leave. Flush all the toilets. I don't know if you know this, but in vacant houses, if a toilet hasn't been flushed in a long time, the gases can start to come out and it reeks. So flush all the toilets, burn a nice smelling candle if needed. I have a little bit of a opinion on that because as I was raised by my mom, you don't cover stink with stink, you get rid of the stink, you don't cover it. But if a candle is helpful, do that. Again, turn on soft, low music. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I don't know if that helps or not. And then write thank you notes to everyone who registers. Okay. Dialogues. First of all, visiting the neighbors. What if you went to 50 neighbors, knocked on the door and said, hi, I'm Lisa from Remax. Just wanted to let you know we've got a listing coming up in a couple days down the street. I will be holding an open house on Friday from 1 to 2:30. As an added benefit, we like to let the neighbors know, just in case you know anybody looking to move into the neighborhood. Let me know if you have any questions. Here's my card. How horrible is that? You're giving them the
Terrifying.
scoop
Yeah.
Terrifying.
because they might shoot you with a gun in the nose.
No.
I mean, depends on the area.
Yeah, well then don't
It is
hold an
better
open
than-
house there. If the moonshiners don't like you, yeah. If the moonshiners don't like you, don't hold an open house. Yeah. No, I mean, how horrible is that? I'm not asking you for anything. I'm just telling you, I'm going to be having an open house. If you know anybody that's been looking to move into the area, please let them know. I just found out that the people are listing down the street. I didn't even know. Like, ooh, I know. Guess what, honey? Okay. Now,
Let's go to the open house and
obviously,
check out their house.
yeah. Well, how bad is that? If nothing else, they see a great listing, what it's listed for, and you get to say, and when they say at the open house, no, we're the neighbors. Hopefully you recognize them, but maybe not. No, we're the neighbors. And okay, terrific. Oops, Mary Crosby's trying to call me. Sorry, decline. You know, great. Here's my card. If you're ever looking to sell, now you know what we do here at Remax, and we'd be happy to help you too. It's to pick up leads. What's wrong with a listing lead? Nothing, right? If you know anybody looking into move into the neighborhood, I'd love to see them at the open house on Sunday. Here's my card. If you or anyone that you know ever has a real estate related need, please don't hesitate to call. It was a pleasure meeting you. Hope you have a great evening. How bad would that be? I challenge you, if you do an open house, I challenge you to not allow yourself to do the open house without knocking on at least 5 doors. Can we at least agree? Just because what's going to happen is you're going to do the 5 and be like, okay, none of my worst fears came true. And one of those people sent their friend to the open house. But prove it wrong rather than telling yourself it's wrong.
Now, if they're not there, do you leave a card?
I'd have a little postcard ready. Just want to let you know, I would be a little careful about giving the address because once we start advertising a property, but I would just say, just want to let you know a house in your neighborhood is going to be on the market. We're going to be holding an open house on Friday. If you know anybody, little postcard. If you have any questions, call me. I'd have just a little note I could pre-print it so I don't have to.
Or door hanger too.
Sure, a door hanger.
Because
I'm trying to make it
That's
cheap.
and I found postcards. You can't put them in the mailbox.
Yeah.
So
You
I
put them out
had
with
to
a
like
stamp.
hole punch them and put them on a rubber band and then like hang them, and that was just.
There you go, cheap. I was gonna say, I'm
Yeah.
trying to help you be cheap here, so that'd be cheap.
But don't mess with the mailbox.
Yeah, don't put them in the mailbox. Yes, please don't. Okay, you've just opened the door to 50 more relationships. Ask yourself, how would I react as a realtor if a realtor knocked on my door, didn't realize that a realtor lived there and said, hi, I'm Lisa from Remax. I'd be like, shit, I don't do that. I mean, if it impresses us, it's going to impress the neighbors. So if you're having a hard time thinking that people will appreciate you doing it, think what you'd think if someone did it to you. Think what your seller thinks.
You just lost an opportunity.
What do you mean?
If you don't do that, or,
Yeah,
or especially if you find out that your house on the street is getting sold by someone else.
yeah. Oh yeah, good point.
Because that's how I felt about the two people down from. But it was family that was selling it, so
I
I'm okay
understand.
with it. But
Yeah.
I'm like,
Could have been.
One time my neighbor's house went
Yeah.
on the market, but with the guy they bought it from. My husband was so upset and I'm like, Freddie, they bought it with him. I'm glad they're loyal people. I mean, that's what we expect. So, okay. Okay, so now you're having your open house and you're welcoming the looker, right? Hi, I'm Lisa with Remax. Come on in and make yourself at home. Greet them at the door with an engaging smile and probably not a handshake because we all know this was written before
Because
COVID, right? The seller would like a record of everyone who's been through the house today. Again, your own script, but make it a script so you don't have to think about it. Could you sign in my guest register? And you, of course, either hand them the register or have them sign in on the laptop. I'd also appreciate any comments you have regarding your home. Did any of you ever watch Flip or Flop? Tarek and Christina Abu Mulu or whatever their name is. Musa, something. Yeah, oh Musa or something. Yeah. They'll let the people go through the house. And then when they come back, they don't hesitate to say, what'd you think? What'd you think of the price? And they're the owners, so they don't, but why would we hesitate? What'd you think? You don't need to give someone a tour of a house. They know what a house looks like. Now, obviously, we give the seller a good talk about, don't leave stuff out, please. When I'm doing an open house, there's hopefully several people in the house. I can't be in the bathroom watching your meds. So meds away, jewelry away, make sure, I don't have to play police, but a good listing, the agent's already told them that anyway. So it should be, okay. Take your time, look around, let me know what you think. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them, right? Encourage them to self-discover. You stay at the door and that way you also catch them on their way out. They don't sneak out. Some do, they go out in the backyard and then they sneak out. They're not buyers. I mean, you can only do so much. When you're speaking with someone and new lookers come in, stop that conversation, welcome the lookers, have them log in and then come back to, say, 1 sec. Hey, thanks for coming in. Okay, great. Okay. Answer out now. Now, this is why this class is going to be short, because now we're right back into the floor call script. Right back into it. You ask questions till you get a no. Once you get a no, you say, come on, we know this. What do you think about the house? It's nice. How much are they asking? It's $150,000. Is that the price range you're looking in? Yes. Great. What else can I tell you? What school district is it? Harper Creek Schools. Is that a good school district for you? Sure. What else? Property taxes, $6,500 a year. Is that in your budget? No, it's a little high for us. The minute you hear the no, you say,
what is your budget?
you say, are you currently in the market for a new home? Remember, just like on the floor calls. Hi, Juan from Remax, how can I help you? I'm standing outside this house, and blah, blah, blah. How much is it? It's $89,900. Is that in your price range? You give them the information they ask for, and as soon as they get to a no, well, or sounds like this house is great for you. Can I ask you, are you in the market for a new home? You ask them, are you buying a house? Are you a buyer? Can I ask you a question? Are you in the market for a new home? Yes. What's the anybody remember without cheating? What's the next question? Yes, I'm in the market for a new home.
No, do you already have a buyer's agent? No? Ugh.
Have you been pre-approved?
How are you going about finding your perfect home? Are you in the market for a home right now? Yeah, we are. Great. How are you going about finding the perfect home? What do you mean? This is what they usually say. What do you mean?
What process are you using that will ensure you get the home you want?
And want the home you get. This is starting to ring a bell? Yes. How are you going about finding your perfect home? What do you mean? Are you using a process? You know, this is where you say, are you working with an agent? Right? How are you going about finding the perfect home? Well, we're working with whoever, Juan. We're working with Juan, and he's showing us houses, but he knew this was open and said we could just, okay, great. Juan's a wonderful agent. If you can get them to tell you the agent, and it's an agent from here or an agent you love that's not from here, you say, terrific. I'm going to let Juan know you came through. If you have any questions, Juan will answer them. He's a great agent and he'll take great care of you. I'm happy to answer any questions, but he can too. Good for you, and you're done. If it's an agent, not from our office, that you're not super respectful of, then you say, do you mind if I ask how they're going about doing that? What do you mean? Well, when I work with a buyer, I make sure that we spend some time determining exactly what's going to make you happy, what your needs are, what your wants are, what you don't want, where you want to be. I make sure I help you define your financial parameters. And I want to make sure that we find the home you want. And then in the end, you want the home you get. Does that sound good to you? And then either they're like, yeah, that's pretty much what we're doing. I mean, we're not looking to steal happy clients. We're looking, but you don't need to necessarily stop if they're working with an agent. You explain to them how you're different. And if they say, yeah, I'd love to do that, but you already know that, then you say, well, have you signed a buyer agency contract with so-and-so? I don't think so. Let me ask you something. Have you signed anything? Have you signed a paper with them? Yes. They didn't write an offer and not sign a buyer agency contract. So if they've signed anything, they've signed a buyer agency contract. So then you say to them, okay, probably you did sign a buyer agency contract. I kind of have to be done at this point. You've hired them. I would love to help you if at some point that contract expires, or if you decide to part ways and terminate that contract. I'd be happy to help you. But for now, you are literally contractually working with that agent. Let me know if I can help. Well, they never call me. No. Well, at this point, you need to let them know you're unhappy. Technically, they should release you from the contract. But again, that's, or if you were working with me and you were very unhappy with me and I couldn't seem to make it right, I would release you from the contract. But that's, you do have to let that go. A contract's a contract. We're not supposed to try to cancel contracts. But you can let them know if the time ever comes when you're not. I'd be happy to help you. I'd be happy to work with you. If nothing else, it makes them go back and look and see when their contract expires, even if they don't want to fire the person. Okay. Then right into the buyer meeting. There's this whole graph on page 11, but let me see if I just missed any of my notes. The whole gist of having an open house is to label the lookers. Yeah. Okay. This is the buyer script right there on page 12. How would you like to use a proactive process that ensure you get the home you want? More importantly, want the home you get. What would that mean? That would mean us getting together for about an hour so I can get to the bottom of exactly what you need in your next home. We can define your financial comfort zone, right? Not how much you can afford, what you're comfortable with. And I'll even go a step further and say, I have a lot of people who are pre-approved to 180, but they don't want to spend 180. They want to spend 150. They feel more comfortable. So we're going to determine what your comfort zone is and really discuss our rules and expectations of each other in a successful working relationship. Does that sound like an approach that would benefit you? Yeah, great. I'm available tomorrow at 2 or 3. Do either of those work for you? Sure, great. Here's my card. Here's my address. I'll see you tomorrow. Make sure you got their information. And you can say to them, great, is the information you entered on the register how I can get a hold of you? Well, I actually gave you a fake phone. No problem, I get it. How about giving me your phone number so we can, just in case something changes, right? The way to get their phone number is to say, I'd like to call tomorrow and confirm, just to make sure, did you give me your number on the register? Yes, I did. Great, I'll give you a call, I'll confirm tomorrow. See you then. It's just like a floor call. Get the meeting. Okay. Book the appointment for the first meeting, write a thank you card, call and confirm the appointment before the appointment. And it doesn't have to be tomorrow. If you typically think of an open house on Sunday. You know, if you're available Monday, if you'd rather have more time to send them mail and to make it Wednesday or Thursday. All right. Remember the justification dialogue? Remember if they say other agents don't have me do that, why do I have to meet with you? First of all, people will follow what you can logically and tangibly explain. Second of all, if they won't meet with you, they're not a buyer, right? Other agents don't make me do that. I know. I mean, thank you for me, because I'm such a smart ass. Please say that. Other agents don't make me do that. I know. Other agents, frankly, don't really care about a working relationship with you. If they can quickly find you out, you know, I'm worried about a relationship. I'm worried about doing such a great job that you'll never let anyone else you know work with anyone but me. And the way I do that is by exceeding what other agents do every step of the way. And if I don't know or care about what you're really looking for, who am I working for? I mean, I would just use all that against them, not against them, for them, but use their argument, you know, turn it around. I have a process that I use with all my clients where I make sure we're finding them the right home in the price range they're comfortable in. How do I do that if I don't know what that is? How do you determine if I'm the right person for you? When we work together, you sign a buyer agency contract. Do you really want to sign that with somebody that you don't even know if they're working the way that works for you? I want to make sure you understand what my plan is, how I work for you, what you can expect from me. And if they say no to that, okay, great. Nice meeting you. Have a good day. Go waste someone else's time. The only limit I have is time. What would I rather do? Spend an hour working for a buyer who says, sure, whatever you say, or an hour, you know, working with a buyer that I've got to pull their teeth every step of the way. Okay. All right. That's that justification dialogue. This is just a more direct approach for the justification dialogue. Just, you know, as you get more comfortable, right? Isn't it important that you make an informed, intelligent decision? Who just told me that they told a buyer about getting pre-approved and the buyer said, nobody's ever explained that to me. Is that you? Wonder who that was. That is odd to me. Explaining it to a buyer why they need to get pre-approved is so easy because you can make it all about them. You make it all about them. It doesn't have to be because I don't want to waste my time showing buyers. If you can't, it's okay. I want to explain the process to you. We look and look and look, and especially in this market, so are other buyers just like you. And when we find, I'll never push you to buy a house. But when you find that perfect house and you want to push me, I want this house, then first of all, we can't submit an offer without a pre-approval letter. And that takes a couple days. The perfect house won't be around anymore. So that pre-approval letter is your ticket to writing a good offer. That's the first thing. The second thing is your pre-approval tells us how much money you need for a down payment, how much money you need for closing costs. We find the perfect home and then the lender says, great, but you need 20% down and you thought you were going to get away with only 5. We're screwed. So I want to make sure that when you find that perfect house, you're like, Lisa, not only do I want it, but I know exactly what I can offer on it. I know exactly what cash I need. I know exactly what I'm doing. I want you to know what you're doing. And you can't know that if you don't know what your loan is. Oh, yeah. Right. And one of the agents here told me that it wasn't you.
You know, it might have been me now that you're saying that.
Yeah.
After all that,
It's like 2 days ago.
Could have been.
Yeah.
You and I didn't talk.
I've had a
to
rough 2 days. So.
Okay. Okay. Anyway, justifying. I think we've gotten down to that, right? Okay. If the looker's working with another agent, I already talked about that. So, I mean, you can read that again if you want, but if they're not a buyer, right? Are you currently in the market for a new home? No, we're just 2 sisters. That's how I found out they were 2 sisters. I said, you guys were at my open house just the other day. Are one of you actually buying a house? No, we're sisters and this is how we spend time together on Sundays. Okay, I don't care. It's an open house. Come on in, right? No. So what brings you out today? We're two sisters, right? We're just looking around. Have you ever thought about selling your home? Okay. Either no, or maybe, or we don't own a home, right? They might be renters, right? Oh, great. Do you think you might be in the future? Here's my name. You just label the person and then offer your services in the future and ask them, do you know anybody who's looking to buy or sell? No. Okay. Not at this time. Great. It's great talking to you. If I can ever be of service or to you or anyone else you know, please don't hesitate to call. Thanks for your time. Have a great day. You don't care. It's an open house. Never act disappointed that somebody just came through because you never know if they could be a future. Okay. If they're just looking, right? Are you currently, well, we're just looking right now. All right. We're not quite ready. That is actually a very common open house person. I don't want to bother a realtor, or frankly, realtors won't be bothered to show me houses right now. I'm not quite ready. So I'm looking at what's out there by going to open houses. So when do you think you will be ready? Oh, probably next June. Great. What's important about next June? Well, the kids get out of school on June 3rd and we figure if we can be moved, whatever. Great. Would you like me to stay in touch with you? Right. To be between now and then, kind of keep you up to date on what's available. So you can kind of, rather than open houses, you can kind of see what the market looks like and just keep you informed until it's time. No, thanks. Okay, that's fine. Right. Or yeah, that'd be fine. Great. Was that correct information on the register? Can I just use that? Yep. Okay, terrific. Right? Why don't you go ahead and take this home criteria sheet with you? You're giving them something. No guarantee of working together, just offering to help and giving them something. Right? Why don't you take this sheet with you and kind of think about it between now and then? This will really help us define what you're looking for, what you need, what you want, and you give them that wants and needs check sheet, which is in here. Don't worry if you don't remember what I'm talking about. Okay, it's a pleasure meeting you. All right, we are literally to the last page of class, and then there's just handouts. Make sure you follow up with all attendees who signed in and were just looking. Okay. Hi, it's me from Remax. Did I catch you at a good time? Just wanted to say I enjoyed meeting you at the open house on Saturday or Sunday. Did you have any more questions about the home? Right? Did you see any other homes over the weekend that you'd like to know more about? Did you have an opportunity to complete or look at that criteria sheet? Did it help? Do you think it'll help? Whatever, right? As I recall, right, prove to them that you were listening. As I recall, you said you were going to be ready in about 2 to 12 months. Is that still accurate? Why would that maybe not be accurate?
Things change.
Things change, or at the time, I was lying to you because, back off, Jackson, right? Now that they feel more comfortable with you, they might say, oh, actually, it could be as soon as a couple months. Our lease is up in September and, oh, great. It could change, right? I love this. So how would you like to proceed from here, right? I don't want to bug you, but I also don't want to neglect you. I don't want you to feel like I'm not getting with you. How should I follow up with you from this point forward? Make suggestions, right? Should I call you every month? Should I every couple months? What should I do to kind of just keep in touch and keep on top of things until, can I put you on a search just to kind of let you see what's out there? What can I do? Right? How would you like me to? And of course, make suggestions because they're not the realtor. They don't know, but give them some, and then they, find out. Yeah, you could probably call us, call us in about a month and a half. We should be a lot closer and have a better idea. Okay, I'll do that. Right? Ask them. How often should I keep in touch with you? When should I call you next? Okay. Okay, great. Again, if your time frame changes, just let me know. If 2 to 10 becomes 6 months, let me know. We can change things, and otherwise have a great day.